Hello and welcome to Coordinating Your Chaos with the Blended Mama. My name is Teresa Stone. I am the Blended Mama and I am an independent brand ambassador with Tula 12. We are a lifestyle organizer company, and today I really want to talk about how we can take our day, take our time, and turn it into purposeful action. So, we're going to be talking about creating time inventories. And if you've never, you might have heard them called a time diary or a time audit, but it's really a way of basically tracking your time and capturing what it is that you are doing each day throughout the day, and then evaluating it so that you can make a purposeful plan for your days going forward. So I am going to share my desktop here. Maybe we're going to see if we can make this work. All right, friends. So this is an hourly insert. I do actually have two that I'm going to share with you today. There's two different inserts that you could use, and it really is a matter of personal preference. But let's first talk about what time blocking is and what a time inventory is. So a time inventory really is literally tracking what you're doing all day long. I recommend doing it for about a week. This is a previous time inventory that I did. You can see that on this Friday, I didn't do very much. And I'm sure it was very similar to the previous days or post days. But anyway, you literally are just tracking what are you doing, during each like half hour block. And then what I did was I came back, I used our color coding dots to categorize. And you can see there's a lot of black dots. That is my day job. That's because that's what I do for 8 hours a day. So that's really not unexpected and what it should be. But anyway, so you're literally going to track what you do every day. And it is just an inventory of where it is that you're spending your time. The important part of the time inventory is actually going back and reviewing it and being like, oh, well, this was a waste. This was unproductive. This could have been done. Maybe I could bucket some things together. And so what you want to do from there is actually create more of a time blocked schedule, right? So you can see the gray blocks that I have here are my day job working hours. And so I had blocked other parts of my day so that I could have kind of an outline of where I'm going to do different tasks. I'm going to also show you where I've created, this is a little more recent, created an ideal day. And it's a similar concept. I just didn't do it in an hourly insert, but I created this ideal daily routine so that I know this is literally what pretty much every day looks like. I get up at 5 o'clock, I get dressed, and I make my matcha. And then I read my Bible, have my quiet time from 6 to 7. I work my business. And then from 7 to 11:30, I work my day job. Then I take a walk and eat lunch. And then I work my day job until 3:30. And then I have time for more business tasks, walk with my husband, dinner and family time, and then go to bed. Okay. So it's a similar concept. I just did it in a different format. Whenever you do it in a weekly format like this is going to give you a better sense of because every day could be a little bit different, right? And in fact, for me, every day is a little bit different, but I have a general outline. And that's what time blocking can do for you. But you can, I moved. And in this case, I didn't have my business time in the morning. I only had it in the afternoon. So all of these blue things are where I was doing something for my business. And I would do this every week. And so sometimes it was a little prettier because I was doing for my day job, I'm not going to track it quite as detailed. But it gave me a place to really write out what my day looks like. Here I talked a little bit more about here's my morning routine and my after work routine. So those were things that I needed to really detail so that I could figure out what I was going to do. I said that I have focus working time. This was going to be where I did my thank yous. This Thursdays is typically where I work on my workshops. Friday is where I do more stuff for my community. So, having that focused work time versus maybe it's more administrative kind of stuff it can make a difference in terms of how you're planning your day. So, I recommend basically taking your hourly, tracking how you're actually spending your time. Like, what are you really doing? Right. And put the detail. I recommend half-hour blocks. Um, track your time for a week, then come back and look at it, reevaluate, what does my day generally look like? And then on the next, for the next week, give yourself an outline, give yourself some structure to your day and defined times for this is when you're going to work and this is when you're going to have family time. I do also recommend using things like a Pomodoro cube to help with time blocking and keeping yourself in that time block. Those are just ways to manage your time within the time block. If you don't know about the Pomodoro method, you can look it up. I believe I have a video on it as well, but there's definitely some articles that have been written about it. It's a great time management tool. So this is, I recommend doing that for your week. Now, if you are more of a daily planner, you might enjoy the Perfect Daily. And with this one, you can see it still has the hourly section, but it also has your top three, a place for you to put your top 3 things to accomplish, and then your next 3, a place for you to put some notes and a daily affirmation. So this is another great insert that you could use both for time blocking and for creating a time inventory. Now my day starts a little bit earlier, so I could, use some of the lines above or figure out how to adjust it. I could just change the hours if I wanted, but my day typically starts a little earlier and goes a little later. It just in terms of life in general, although frankly, after 7 o'clock is typically family time, but 8 o'clock is usually when I do my workshops. So, I might add an hour on the front end and an hour on the back end, and I would just modify that here on the insert. Similar to that, even on the weekly, it doesn't start until 7. So I would actually have to add 2 hours in front. So for me, I would just change the hours. So you can absolutely modify inserts to meet your needs and really keeping up with that time and understanding where it is that you are spending your time. It really is like a snapshot of how you're spending your time. And it's a really powerful tool for self-awareness, for identifying areas for improvement. So grab a pen, jot down what you do during the day. If you don't have one of these yet, you can do this in a notebook. I like this because it's already outlined and I'm not having to create a format, right? But you could absolutely and just write this down in a notebook. But you're going to track your activities from when you wake up until when you go to bed. And you're going to be honest, you're going to be detailed, and you're going to find things that you're not going to like. Like I'm about to do this activity again because it's just that time. And I'm going to find that I spend too much time on my phone and that I'm not always getting out of bed whenever I'm supposed to. So those are I already know that, like, I already know this, and you probably already know those things too. But it really is good to understand where your time is going, not to judge necessarily, just to understand. But once you have that time inventory, you want to be mindful about reviewing it. Look for patterns or habits that might stand out. Are you spending too much time on tasks that aren't even in alignment with your goals? Because that can be, listen, I talk to my husband about this a lot, and I tell him no is a complete sentence, and it's a very powerful word. And when you have a time blocked schedule and somebody asks for more of your time, you have a better understanding of, well, if I give them this time, that means something on my calendar isn't getting done, and you have a better idea of what it is that isn't getting done. So it can be a very powerful tool in terms of setting boundaries. So I just want to make sure that you know that it's okay to say no, that I don't have room in my schedule to fit that in. But once you have this, you're able to tweak your time blocking strategy. You can try different schedules until you find the one that really works best for you. But you do want to leave room for some flexibility, for some spontaneity. I try to be a little bit flexible with my time. And especially whenever it comes to non-business hours, I try to be a little more flexible. And even when it comes to my business stuff, if I can shift it later, like if my kids need, like my daughter needs me to drive her to soccer practice, um, I'm going to do that. So what I ended up doing with my ideal daily routine is that now I have about 90 minutes instead of 2 hours, and I work in the parking lot at the school instead of at my desk. So, what I did was I adjusted what tasks I do in my morning working session versus my afternoon working session, because the things I can do in my car are very different than what I can do at my desk. So, I really just had to adjust where in the day I was doing certain tasks, like creating this video. It's definitely a morning task. I'm not going to create this video in my car. So it was important for me to understand where I was needed, to be flexible, and to adjust things accordingly. And I think that is something that creating that time inventory is going to help you understand where you're spending your time. Creating the time blocked schedule is going to help you keep yourself in alignment with where you want to be spending your time. I do recommend, marking off as you have done the things. Once you've created your time block schedule, marking things off as you've done them, and it maybe give yourself like some sort of sticker or something that says, yes, I did this when I planned to do it. It's also important to understand how long it takes to do tasks, and that might be where using a timer comes into play. You might not realize that how long it's actually taking you to create graphics, but maybe it's taking you longer because you're distracted, right? I know that when I'm working on stuff like that, I have to shut down the other browsers. I can't have Facebook open. My phone is usually somewhere outside of my reach, and I remove those distractions. So you may need to think about doing things like that to keep yourself on task as well. All right, friend, that was all I had today to talk about the power of the time inventory and being purposeful in our action. I hope that you guys are learning some from us this week, or this month rather. If you didn't catch last week's video, goodness, y'all, I can't talk today. Go back and watch last week's video. I found it really helpful for myself, so hopefully you guys did as well. But also check out my latest blog articles on theblendedmama.com. We are still talking about the same thing as it relates to being mindful with our planning. And our workshop is coming up this Thursday, April 25th at 8 o'clock Eastern. If you're not registered, you can go to theblendedmama.com/free workshop. We are going to be talking about mindful moments, transform your planning into purposeful action. We're going to be talking about this type of time inventory and ideal routines, but it's also going to be an opportunity for you to ask questions and get live answers. So I hope that you guys will come join me. And until next time,